vacation.
And I'm still here.
Yes. Brandon Marshall.
No. To the gentleman on the front of our page who sat there and said, "Why do I scratch and itch?" It's because I'm allergic to cocoa butter.
See, George, you gotta always start off with the cocoa butter. I don't even got a cocoa butter on right now, man.
I'm even over here twitching now.
See?
They're ganging up on me, man.
Someone in this house has cocoa butter on. Just saying.
They're ganging up on me. Brandon Marshall
was smacking the cocoa butter clean off his wife.
Brandon Marshall has had his off-field
He's a
problems.
dirty dude, man.
Punting footballs during practice, refusing to practice, beating up on his wife, fucking, obviously getting in altercations that caused, Darren Williams, that led to the Darren Williams shooting. But he definitely came up against a very good competitor in his wife. We don't know how to pronounce her name, so we'll just call her a.k.a. Edward Scissorhands.
You should be happy you didn't have a gun in the house.
Right.
Because she'd have shot you, and I don't think you would have made it.
Now, obviously, with the lockout and everything, before this happened, Marshall was under the impression that he was going to be playing in the NBA, and he said he was going to be playing in the NBA.
He said he's going to go play for the Nuggets because he figured he'd get booed and cheered at the same time.
Right. I mean, what do you think about that? Jimmy, what do you think about that?
As long as guys aren't carrying shivs, he'll be all right.
Jesus. Last time I checked, I think that's illegal. That might be a foul in the NBA.
Right. Well, I don't think he's going to be playing any basketball anytime soon, obviously, because he's not going to be able to jump with all that. I mean, he had surgery, right?
Now, time out. Is Roger Goodell going to swoop in and suspend him?
Can't.
Why?
Because it happened. It's a lockout, right?
So what? He's suspending everyone else making phone calls. It's funny because all the rules apply to all the players and all the owners, but Roger Goodell gets to run around and do whatever the fuck he wants.
If anybody needs to be suspended, believe me, I would think Brandon Marshall needs to be
Roger
suspended.
Goodell needs to be suspended.
But the problem is
Man,
that
way too much
his
power.
wife did it.
So
and
what?
it happened during a lockout.
And?
You can't. I don't think.
Well, he won't.
He can't right now, but potentially when they are back,
he'll investigate.
Now, what are they saying? I mean, about. I mean, if anybody, like I said, like Brandon Marshall, I don't know how he's still in the NFL because if I was the owner of the Dolphins, he's talented as shit, but his numbers weren't like they were the last couple of years. They started.
Do me a favor. Time out. Name the Miami Dolphin quarterback. I'll wait.
I think it's Chad Henne, actually.
Who?
Chad
Henne.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Last time he
the
played
other one was Chad Pennington. They like Chads.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Maybe Chad Ochocinco will try for quarterback next time.
Well, you heard what the big rumor now is in Denver, is they're going to draft a quarterback. Because John Fox and now John Elway is the vice president of picking players or some shit.
So what happens to Tebow?
Bye-bye.
He's going to go back to prayer?
He's going to go back to play linebacker.
Maybe he's going to go into bodybuilding.
Now, speaking of NFL and our boy from the Ravens, the safety, he knocked another motherfucker out last night.
Zibikowski?
Yeah, he is 4-0.
How often does he fight?
Well,
he's like, fuck it, I'm fighting, man. I'm getting a $50,000 paycheck and I'm knocking Bamas out every night.
Put it this way, when you're an amateur boxer, you don't even fight 8 rounds yet. I think it's 4 or 5 round matches.
And he's knocking Bamas out in the first round.
Yeah, he's crushing them. And here's the thing, he's not even fighting within his weight class, because boxing, if you put on 2 pounds, you can go up 6 weight classes. Yeah. Boxing's retarded when it comes to weights.
Yeah. Speaking of that again, what about John Jones' brother?
That's something you told me.
Yeah, he's also a Baltimore Raven, right? And he's like, you know what? I'm thinking about getting back into MMA. I'm taking my jiu-jitsu serious. Okay? Now, we were laughing about it, saying that when they go home, do they still give John Jones nookies and mess with him because they're the older brothers, the bigger brothers? But see, there was some seriousness to that shit. Because John Jones basically, they asked him, what would your brother's nickname be? And he was like the Destroyer, the Enforcer. And he basically said, it doesn't matter what his nickname is because Cain Velasquez will get destroyed. That's a bold statement.
Yeah, that's
he's saying that his brother will basically just rock Cain Velasquez. And he wasn't joking.
I'd like to see it because a lot of the NFL players all season are going to these MMA gyms and training because they're training because the majority of your MMA training is CrossFit along with other stand-up and things like that. I'd like to see it.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, but to me, there's a difference between just training that way and actually understanding the holds and submissions and things like that. I mean, that's going to take a little while to pick up.
I think John Jones understands it.
No.
If his brother trains anything like John Jones does, I don't think he has a problem.
Yeah, and he's lengthy, and if he's got those limbs like a spider monkey.
And put it this way, it's not like his first fight would be Cain Velasquez. This isn't Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
I mean, he wouldn't have the name draw, so you'd obviously have to put him in. And hell, now you own Strikeforce, and I'm sure you're going to buy Bellator next week. And you probably own part of Shark Fights, which means all of it.
Just don't take Denny's from us.
Right. God dang it. Just don't take Denny's in the back. What the hell am I trying to say? Denny's in the
somebody's head
alley
still on
dumpster.
vacation.
Anyway, let's move on to the NBA.
Well, Chicago Bulls are not doing what I thought they'd do.
What did you think they were going to do?
Sweep.
Huh?
Sweep.
Yeah, they weren't
They
sweet.
gave up a game, and they should have lost the first game.
Yeah, they're masters of literally stealing the game in the last 5 minutes. I mean, Indiana's been winning the majority of the games, and yet they end up losing it in the last quarter.
Yeah. Go ahead.
If let me rephrase that. When Chicago wins this, they're more than likely going to be locked up against which seed? They're the 1, so they're going to play what?
They would play, I mean, if seeds fell the way they're supposed to fall, they would play the 4 seed, okay? That would have been the magic. But like I told you guys, beginning with, they're having their struggles with the Hawks.
Yeah.
So they could end up playing the Hawks or the Magic.
Because let me tell you right now, the way to beat Derrick Rose, knock him down.
Or roll his ankle.
Get up in his face and knock him down.
Right.
I mean, just don't give him any room to create.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the Pacers did in that last game, and that's why they jumped out on them and they stayed.
The Pacers are one of several teams.
Pacers are so young.
They're so young, but you know what's funny, man? All these teams, these NBA teams, are building these big superpowers. You know, I mean, obviously the Celtics and the Lakers are the older ones. Now you got the Heat, and but you look at the Thunder, young, great young talent.
And they've built their team out of the draft.
Yeah, out of the draft. The Memphis Grizzlies, great young talent
They've traded.
Yeah,
but they're
they built it up, you know, but they're young, and look what they're doing. They're beating up the shit out of an old team right now. You know, and obviously the Thunder's just killing Denver, who's a great team. And then you've got Indiana, who's going up against the number 1 seed in the East, and they're like, they're holding their own.
They hung with the Bulls. I mean, they're not going to win, but Tyler Hansborough has really showed it.
They play tough.
Yeah,
they do.
I mean, they got heart, that's for sure.
They got. I mean, just think, Hansborough and the boy from Georgetown.
Oh, Hibbert.
Hibbert on the squad. And Grievous Vasquez.
Oh.
How many teams does Grievous Vasquez play for?
I think he just played for the Grizzlies.
I thought
We were
I
just
saw
talking about
him
Indiana.
weed-whacking outside of the stadium.
Indiana's up on Chicago 3-1. The Heat are going to close this thing out because they're up 3-0. Boston and New York are battling back and forth, and obviously New York needs another player. And they're a totally different team without Horns. So Celtics got that under wraps. And dude,
who's impressed? You're getting ready to say it, right? What team has impressed you the most?
Oklahoma.
Absolutely.
If I'm the Lakers, I'm not happy.
I'm a Lakers fan, and I'm not happy.
It's a bad matchup for them.
It is a bad matchup because they're young and they're fast, and the Lakers have been lazy lately. You know, unless they get. Now, I will say this: Steve Blake, and this is funny. Steve Blake and Matt Barnes. Those motherfuckers come out and they just fucking, just stop, okay? They do. They cause a lot of havoc. They're kind of like, what was it, Sasha Bujacek? They just...
Matt Barnes is throwing oranges at people.
Yeah, no joke. I didn't even know why they let him on the court.
Now, who's been the most impressive player so far in the series? In any of the playoff series?
I mean, I guess you'd give it to whoever one's saying is the MVP is Derrick Rose, because, I mean, he takes over the games. But I'm flipping a coin between Durant and Westbrook.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, they're the two most explosive guys right now in the NBA.
Derrick Rose is played excellent, but he's shooting. I mean, he's taken a lot of shots to score those points.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Now, let's talk about the West real quick. You got Memphis, who's doing something that no one ever expected. They've won their first playoff game, and then they won their first home playoff game to put them up 2-1 on San Antonio.
Right. Now, this shit could change. I mean, because we're talking. This is Sunday morning, okay? So things can change because the games are just happening.
Yeah, San Antonio could turn to dust.
Here's the question: can San Antonio come back? They're the grizzled veteran
Well, they're
team.
grizzled.
I'm gonna tell you, they're getting grizzled. They're getting grizzly.
Can they come back? I'd say yes, because it's only one game. I can tell you right now, if they get down 3-1.
Okay, they can come back because they've got savvy veterans. And the best thing that the San Antonio Spurs have going for him is Greg Popovich. Because, I mean, he's not going to lose his poise. He's going to, I mean, they were a timeout the other night from winning the fucking game. They couldn't get the time. What the fuck was that?
Sound like a circuit pop.
What the fuck
That's
was that?
That's Pepco coming to turn that shit off.
George always wanted to draw on my electricity.
Let me get Pepco on the phone.
But, I still think the Grizzlies, because they're young, could kind of get a little bit, they're obviously at home right now. And, you got your crowd behind you. But once they get back into San Antonio, all San Antonio has to do is win a game. in Memphis, win this next game, and I think they're in great shape.
On to New Orleans and the Lakers. Lakers are up 2-1.
Yeah. Were the Lakers struggling? Yeah. They're doing the same thing they did with the Hornets last year. The thing is the first game they lost to the Hornets, it was a little bit of lackluster performance from the Lakers. Like Pau Gasol was sick; he had an upper respiratory problem.
He's never 100%.
He's never 100. You're right. But one person who has been dominant as shit is Andrew Bynum, and I know you don't like me saying that shit, but he's played nasty.
He's got about 30 more minutes till he gets hurt for the rest of the playoffs. So get your 30 minutes in now, young man.
Right.
Spread those out.
I will take $1,000 and put it on this table and tell you Andrew Bynum will not play at the end of where
I'm not going to take the bet because something will happen, especially with that big ass fucking knee brace.
Dude,
but
he's so fragile.
The thing is that the first game the Hornets just shot unbelievable. They shot so good. Their field goal percentage was just unbelievable, and that declined, and the Lakers took over. The last 2 games, the Lakers have been pretty dominant. They're going to close out that series. It'll be in 5 or 6.
The Hornets just don't have enough weapons.
They don't.
That series is done.
Yeah.
Now, can the Dallas Mavericks come back and do anything against Portland after blowing a 23-point lead?
That's the series because Dallas. Okay, Dallas has only won 2.
You put up one finger and said 2.
2 of 20 playoff games on the road. 2. And
they have home court.
They do have home court advantage. But I think really if Portland can win one of those games at home, that's all they need. I don't think they can beat Portland in Portland. And I think they lost a lot, man. A lot of wind out of their sails when they let Brandon Roy come back and drop 18 on them in the 4th quarter. That shit is fucking ridiculous, man. You know what I'm saying? Where was Dirk Nowitzki? He's your guy that can shoot. They had motherfuckers. They had Waldo shooting. You know what I'm saying? They had Gazoo from the Flintstones shooting a 3-pointer. They had these motherfuckers you ain't even seen in a long time. Scooby-Doo tried to bust a 3-pointer.
I saw that cat come out of the
HR puffing stuff and shit. All these motherfuckers you never heard of trying to shoot threes. When you got Dirk Nowitzki sitting right there who's capable of just draining a 3, they don't do it. They don't get the ball to him. If I was the coach, man, I would have stuck
Dirk's fault for not calling for the ball and demanding the ball. He's supposed to be the captain on the team, right?
Maybe he was speaking from, I don't know.
The only person who's been there longer than Dirk Nowitzki is Mark Cuban. Now, on to the Denver-Oklahoma series. I think you can put a bow tie on this bitch. It's done.
It's done.
Oklahoma is nasty, and Denver just doesn't have any offense. They traded it all away, putting Carmelo in New York.
They look lost.
Yeah. The only thing, they're lost on their way back to the tattoo parlor, shorty. Because everybody on that team is got fucking tattoos.
Dude, here's the thing. That dude, Birdman, dog, you are tattooed from here all the way to here and down. What are you going to do when you are done playing basketball?
People have sleeves. Birdman has a bodysuit.
Yeah, he does.
That nigga's got a wetsuit, shorty. He's got a tattoo wetsuit, shorty.
What do you do?
I don't know. If he could tattoo your eyeballs and hair, he would get it done tomorrow. He might be getting it done tomorrow. I don't fucking know. Now, we've covered the East. We've covered the West. Now let's take our little skates and skate on over to Brandon Marshall's house and stab the nigga. Oh, I'm just joking. Whoa. No, we're going to skate over to the NHL Stanley Cup Finals. Now, Stanley Cup playoffs, yeah. I fucked it up, man. Because I'm black, man. This is hard for me. Okay, guys?
Hockey's out of his element.
Yeah, man.
Capitals closed out the Rangers.
Empathy for me.
They won their series 4-1.
What do you think?
I think they're looking
I
good.
mean, you and I said the Flyers were going to go right now.
Flyers are struggling. They need Buffalo's leading that series 3-2. To me, that just shows you what a hot goaltender. To me, two of the best goaltenders right now are, I think it's Miller for Buffalo and then the kid for Montreal.
Yeah, and the Caps goaltender looks pretty good.
Yeah, their defense to me is what's more impressive than the goaltender.
Did you almost have a heart attack when Mike Green got hit in the head with the puck?
No, I feel that Mike Green needs to put it on ice. Just done. Just wrap it up. Just fucking sit out the rest of the playoffs, dude. They don't need you. You need to worry about his health. He does. Dude, he took a puck in the head. That's like his 4th head injury in like 2 months.
And the screw flew off and shit?
Two of them. Knocked screws out of his
head.
fucking
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you, man. Mike Green, you're a bad motherfucker. You're not sitting across the play so the Caps can win the Stanley Cup.
They don't need him to win the Stanley Cup.
Well, he's been the best offensive. He's had more points than any of in this series. He had more points than anybody.
Okay, well, I'm gonna tell you right now, he might be good for another game before he's snoring and not getting up.
That's a good
He's
point.
joining Andrew Bynum.
Right. We should do it. Who do you guys think is going to go out first?
Andrew
Green
Bynum
or Green in hockey or Bynum in fucking basketball?
Bynum, because Green's
Put it on the comment board, huh?
Green's a tough motherfucker. I'd say Bynum.
Yeah, you guys, Mike Green for the Caps, is he going to go out before Andrew Bynum for Lakers? We want to see who you guys think.
Now, next series is Buffalo.
What about?
They're beating Philadelphia. So you got a 7 beating a 2 right now. And then you go to Boston. Boston's actually come back to take the lead on Montreal. They're up 3-2. And Pittsburgh's up 3-2 on Tampa Bay. Pittsburgh, the 2 losses you've had in this series have been absolutely embarrassing. 8-2 and like 5-0.
They should have named them the Buffalo Lightsabers. I think it would have been much cooler. Yoda could have been like their fucking, I know that was...
It would have had a lot of fans, all those Star Wars cats.
Fuck yeah, man. See, Jimmy's feeling what I'm feeling,
No, you want to
man.
know why he said that?
Why?
Because we were talking about gyms and different types of... No, just wait. Bear with me. We were
Bear
talking
with
about...
me?
I didn't say Wookiee with me. I said bear with me.
Okay.
Everyone's out there training all kinds of different ways. You have
Okay.
gyms like Fitness First. You have your Bally's, your traditional gyms. And then you have these like CrossFit gyms. And then you have your MMA gyms. You want to know how
Don't forget the shake weight.
That's not a gym.
Oh.
So I'm looking at Jimmy, and I'm like, you know what? Here's how you can do it. Jedi training.
Excuse me?
Because we saw a bunch of these like Star Wars people. I don't even know what you call them.
Huh?
Star Wars people.
Star Trek ones are called Trekkies, right?
Yeah.
What is
Open
Star
up
Wars?
a gym and tell them we're going to train you how to be a Jedi. Do some crazy kung fu ninjutsu type crazy shit, and I can guarantee you will have pimply faced, glass, greased up haired nerds around the block. I'm going to be a Jedi!
Bring in like 3 girls, they'll be there.
Yeah. All it takes is one girl. Dress her up in a robe. Dude, money. It's money all day long.
Really?
Yep. Jedi training. Just make that
What's
shit
membership
up.
dues? Just show that you're a virgin card?
Back to hockey. That leads us out to the West, where Vancouver leads 3-2 over the Blackhawks. San Jose. San Jose.
They don't have a black player, so don't worry.
Right.
San Jose's up on LA 3-2. Detroit closed it out, sweeping 4-0, and Nashville's leading the Ducks 3-2.
Where did the Red Wings come from? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I was
Detroit.
wrong. I know they came from Detroit, okay, along with Chrysler and fucking Eminem and all the rest of it, and Kid Rock. But where did they come in this series, this playoff series? Because no one was talking about Detroit. None of us had Detroit. I mean, I wouldn't pick Detroit because I don't know a lot about hockey. But did you have them as a front runner?
No.
They look impressive right now. They look
This
more
time of year, they always are playing well. I mean,
yeah,
at least it seems so.
Yeah, they always come out of the woodwork.
So yes, our hockey coverage is quite bare because
Yeah.
there's just way too many players' names we can't pronounce. If you think our MMA pronunciation is bad, holy Havelchuk-Datsuk.
The Wongo.
Yeah, no. So anyway, looks like the Caps are on the road, the right path.
Right.
They have a multitude of people they could play. It could
Multitude.
Be,
That's a pretty big
It could
word.
be 8 seed.
Define.
I mean, it could be a 7 seed. It could be a 5 seed. It could be, anything. They just play the lowest seed.
Who
Hopefully,
do you think hoping they're playing?
not the Penguins.
Huh?
Not the Penguins.
I'm hoping they're playing whatchamajig.
Buffalo?
No, who's the 6th seed?
Montreal.
Yeah, Montreal, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Montreal's down.
Montreal, they're the ones that knocked us out last time now. But I'd like to see some revenge. Anyway, let's move on to the world of MMA.
I guess this is big news for you guys who are just more than casual followers. I guess it's big news. Your first person whose contract was up in Strikeforce has actually got signed by the UFC. And this isn't his first go with the UFC. His last match in the UFC, he lost a decision to GSP.
Now, you want to really freak out? Okay, guys, seriously. Grab your trousers. His name is Jason Miller. Nickname, Jason Mayhem Miller. Did I say that right?
Why would anyone freak out about that?
Because they say we can't say names right. I got that one right. All it's got to be is a white boy from the country, and I'll get it right every time.
Wow. Jason Mayhem Miller is the host of Bully Beatdown. He's very energetic and brings a lighter side. So I'm interested to see how that's going to mesh with the UFC.
Right.
He's a personality.
Yeah, he's a face, and he's fun. He's light. I mean, they don't have a lot of guys in the UFC who do that. To me,
I love him, man. I think he's great. I think he's great for sport. Some guys take the sport. I mean, you always should have a lot of respect in MMA. I love the fact that the fighters that are respectful, but there's no reason you can't be light and be kind of jovial, you know?
Well, they've already got Jason Miller's first fight lined up, and it looks like it's going to be at UFC 132, where you're going to have the headlining on that fight, Dominic Cruz versus Faber,
Yeah.
which should be entertaining. But Jason Mayhem Miller is fighting Aaron Simpson.
Homer Simpson.
Aaron Simpson.
Oh!
Homer's kid.
Like I caught it in a triangle.
Oh, also on this UFC, we're not going to get super in depth about this UFC 132 card, but I just brought it up. You have Tito Ortiz versus Ryan Bader, where if you follow this guy on Twitter, he says he's just going to let his fighting do the talking. In other words, hold on. In other words, that means he won't even make it to this because I can't remember the last time he fought. He'll probably get hurt.
Neck.
Carlos Conduit versus the Dong. And Melvin Gillard actually looks like he's made the main card for Shane Roller. But, I mean, dude, that's subject to change. It's UFC 130.
Yeah, that's far out.
Yeah, it's way the fuck out.
Who do you got? If Ortiz makes it.
Dude, Ryan Bader's going to
Ryan Bader. Man. I mean, seriously, it was a good fight against John Jones. I mean, he was in a different league. But, I mean, Ryan Bader's not a bad fighter. Actually,
if you ask me, Ryan Bader... Okay, think about this, everybody. Ryan Bader fought a better fight against John Jones than Shogun. And until that point,
more competitive.
That's not saying a whole lot.
Well, no, I'm just saying. Shogun was a champ, and Ryan Bader was undefeated. Yeah. So a lot of people will look at that, and all of a sudden he kind of gets dismissed or shoved off to the side. But, you might be looking at potentially maybe top 3 person in that class. But he just got overlooked because he had to go up against the killer.
Now, let me tell you right now, Melvin Gillard will probably get bumped off the main card, and I say that because you either have to put in Jason Mayhem Miller and Aaron Simpson up there. Well, maybe that'll make the 5th. Maybe they'll squeeze 5 on the main card. Now that UFC has bumped their shit back to 9 p.m.
They should.
But here's a fight, and I think we all know how this one's going to go. Wanderlei Silva versus Chris Lieben.
That's going to be...
There's the line.
Yes.
They're going to stay in there, and that
definitely
fight...
don't take a bathroom break or go get a drink or anything.
No, because
you don't want to miss it.
And these are 2 guys who just don't give a fuck. They're the kind of fighters, and I've always said this, there's certain type of MMA fighters, and there could be MMA guys out there watching. You'll know what I mean. There are guys that are out there like, you know what, I want to learn how to fight, I want to be good, but in the back of your mind, you're like, someone can always fucking stop. The ref can always stop it. I can always fucking tap out or whatever. Then there's motherfuckers that are just nuts. The kind of motherfuckers you grew up with and you're like, yeah, we're going to get in a fight because we're hanging out with this idiot tonight. He just likes to fight, like Tank Atkins. Those 2 guys like to fight, and they don't give a fuck about the money. They don't give a fuck about anything but keeping the crowd's dicks hard, and they're going to fucking go out and
always have jobs.
Now, mind you,
always have jobs.
Wanderlei turned down 2 or 3 other fights because they originally had him versus Brian Stan. He's like, I'm not fighting an American war hero, which, you know what, I can understand that.
Right.
So he's going to fight Lieben. This looks like it's going to be a decent card, with the exception of the Tito Ortiz fight. No offense. I think
that could end up being a good fight.
It's
really,
Ryan
Tito
Bader's
hasn't had a good fight since 2004.
This is true.
Yeah, so that's the MMA
He had a good
news.
fight against his vertebrae because he's got a lot of back rubs.
He's been battling that.
Well, the last
tapping out.
The last fight he won was against Jenna Jameson.
Huh?
The last fight he won was against Jenna Jameson when he beat her ass.
Right.
And got locked up for it. Because let's look at Tito's last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fights. Loss.
Tito Ortiz, watching this video. Just know George said it. Jimmy, did you say it?
I don't give a shit. He ain't coming all the way out here. Dude, he's seriously one of the most sensitive people in MMA. And if you don't believe me, go on Twitter and follow that cat. He's overly sensitive to be a fighter. I don't know how he's made it this far.
Really?
Yes. Dude, he is fucking Sammy sensitive.
Really?
Yes. The band was a bitch.
Oh,
I don't care.
James, please roll the disclaimer and put it only over George's head.
Dude, he lost to Matt Hamill. He lost to Forrest Griffin. He lost to Machida.
Huh?
He had a draw somehow against Rashad Evans, and he lost to Chuck Liddell. That's his last 5 fights.
Speak up, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Who did he lose to?
Matt Hamill.
Here, did you get that?
Oh, got it. Okay.
So I'm not. I mean, you know what? Hats off to you, Tito, for continuing the try, but you might want to look for that office job, a la like Chuck Liddell.
Yes.
Because your shit is you're done.
I don't think he's as tight with Dana White as Chuck Liddell, so he's going to be.
No, because he's mouthy as fuck.
Yeah, he's not a company guy.
No. Anyway, that's my take on Tito Ortiz. You're not really a bitch, but you whine like one on Twitter. I mean, anyone has to see it. That's why his last tweet was, "I'm going to let my fighting do the talking," which means you won't even make it to the fight.
Right. Yeah, he's had a problem making it to the fight.
He can't. Dude, he's old.
He might want to take a limo to the next one.
He might want to move out of his house. 2 twins and her.
Holy shit! Really?
Yeah, he's got his wallet.
That's a bigger fight.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyway, that wraps it up for this week's show. It's got an awesome fight coming up this weekend. Everybody's been anticipating.
Who's fighting?
Who?
Yeah, hey, definitely catch the last primetime. That's been a good show. GSP, Jake Shields, primetime.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't had a chance to catch that. You can actually order. They actually have a pay-per-view about GSP too. The whole history of